Hello scholars, welcome to Dakshina classroom. In this video, we are going to discuss the problems of modern physics 1, which is actually nothing but dual nature of matter and radiation. Exercise 1 and section C. Section C is nothing but Bohr's atomic model of hydrogen atom and hydrogen-like species. That is your section C. And we will also discuss section D, which is electronic transition in the hydrogen-like atoms. So let us start with section C. Section C, first question. First question says that in the Lehman series of hydrogen spectral lines lie in which region? In Lehman series of hydrogen spectrum lies in which region? There are four options: infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-rays. Now remember, what is Lehman series? Lehman series is nothing but when an electron jumps from any higher level to the first orbit or the ground state. Now ground state has the lowest energy and the higher energy are other states. So if you jump to the lowest possible energy state, then electron will emit some photon, and that photon will be highest energy possible. Highest photon will be emitted when you jump from infinite n is equal to infinite to n is equal to 1. So what is Lehman series? n4 to n1, n3 to n1, n2 to n1, or n5 to n1, or so on. This is your Lehman series. So in case of Lehman series, energy of the photon emitted will be very high energy photons. So the Lehman series cannot be infrared, is not visible, is not X-ray. So Lehman series photons will be what? In which region? Ultraviolet region. So when you talk about Lehman series, the energy of the photons emitted is very high, and since the energy is very high, they lie in the ultraviolet region. So that is your option number C. Option number C is the correct choice. Question number 2. What is the question number 2? Which one of the series of hydrogen spectrum is in the visible region? We have already studied this, that Balmer series, visible region will be what? Visible region will be your Balmer series. What is Balmer series? n5 to n2, n4 to n2, n3 to n2, n2 to n2, no, just or n6 to n2, n7 to n2, any higher orbit to second orbit, that is your Balmer series. And in this Balmer series, energy will be, or the photons which are emitted, that will fall in the visible region. So that is your option 2. Now pay attention. The energy of photons emitted in Balmer series will be slightly lower than energy of the photons emitted in Lehman series. For example, if electron jumps from n4 to n1 and n4 to n2, which one will have less energy? This will have less energy, this will have more energy. That is why this is in ultraviolet region and this is in visible region, because energy of visible region photons are less than energy of ultraviolet region photons. So that is your question number 2, option 2. Question number 3. What is question number 3? Rutherford's alpha particle experiment shows that most of the alpha particle pass through almost unscattered. We have already studied this. While some are scattered through large angles. What information does it give about the structure of atom? So most of the alpha particles pass unscattered, meaning there is a lot of empty space. Some of the very small alpha particles are scattered through large angles, meaning all the mass is concentrated at a point, and that point has positive charge. So there are three options. Atom is hollow. Yes, most of the atom is empty space. Whole mass of the atom is concentrated in a center called nucleus. That is also correct. Nucleus is positively charged. That is also correct. All these three conclusions were drawn from Rutherford's alpha particle experiment. So fourth option, all of the above. So all of the above. Fourth option, option 4 is your correct choice, because option 1, 2, 3, all those three conclusions can be drawn from Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment. What is question number 4? Question number 4, the energy required to knock out the electron in the third orbit of a hydrogen atom is equal to. What is the meaning of energy required to knock out? Meaning you have to supply so much energy that its total energy becomes zero, ionization energy. So what I need to do? First I need to calculate what is the energy of electron in the third orbit of hydrogen atom. Now in case of a hydrogen atom, energy in the nth orbit may be written as minus of 13.6 divided by n square. That is energy in the nth orbit. This is electron volts. So how much is this? Minus 13.6, and we are talking about third orbit. So what is the third orbit? N is equal to 3, so divided by 9. This is the energy of electron in the third orbit of hydrogen. Now if I want to knock out this electron from the hydrogen atom, meaning I want to remove this electron from the hydrogen atom, meaning I will have to make this energy at least zero. So how much energy? What is the minimum energy that must be provided? So how much energy I must provide? This I have to make zero. So energy plus energy in the third orbit equals 0. So this is third orbit. So from here energy will be plus 13.6 divided by 9 electron volt. So how much energy needs to be supplied? If you want to knock out an electron from the third orbit of hydrogen atom, this much energy must be provided. So that is your option 2 is the correct choice. So let us solve question number 5, question number C5. Question number 5. What is question number 5? The ionization potential for second helium electron is. What is ionization potential? Nothing but how much energy must be provided to remove that electron from the atom. So second helium electron, meaning your helium is already like this, helium plus 1, meaning it is a hydrogen like species, meaning there is only one electron. Now what is the energy of an electron in a hydrogen like species? In a hydrogen like species, energy in the nth orbit is written as minus of 13.6 into z square divided by n square. This is energy. Now helium, Z is the atomic number. For helium atomic number is 2 and n equals 2. N is your orbit. So what is the energy in the first orbit? Now here, fifth question. The ionization potential for second electron. Okay. So minus of 13.6 into Z squared. 2 square is 4 divided by n. There is only one electron. So it will be in the first orbit. Because in case of helium, there are only 2 electrons for an atom. And they are in the ground state. One has already been removed. Other will be in the ground state. So n equals 1. So this will be minus of 4 4 5, okay, minus of 54.4 electron volt. So this electron which is in H, helium plus, so this electron has an energy of this much, and if I want to remove this electron from the helium atom, I need to make this energy at least 0. So ionization energy will be equal to positive value of this, so plus 54.4 electron volt. So if you provide this much energy to this electron, its total energy will become 0, meaning it will be free of the atom. So your option number 3 is the correct choice, option 3. So that is your 5th question. Let us discuss question number 6. Question number 6 says an electron makes a transition from n equals 4 to n equals 2 of a hydrogen atom. The wave number of the emitted radiation will be. So for a hydrogen atom I can write 1 by lambda equals R, which is Rydberg constant, 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, like this. That is, so 1 by lambda is nothing but wave number. So 1 by lambda I have to find out. So R times, it is going from n equals 4 to n equals 2. So 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 4 square, like this. So R equals 16, 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1 divided by 16. So that is 3R by 16. So 1 by lambda is 3R by 16, and 1 by lambda is only your wave number. So what is the wave number here? 3R by 16. So option 3 is your correct choice. Wave number, don't worry, wave number is nothing but 1 by lambda. Don't worry that, sir, what is wave number? Nothing. 1 by lambda, that is your wave number. That much is enough for you right now. Question number 7. If A naught is the Bohr radius, the radius of n equal 2 electronic orbit in triply ionized beryllium is. Now atomic number of beryllium is Z equals 4. So what you write? Radius R equals R naught. Okay, R equals R naught n square divided by Z. That is your radius of any orbit. Now, so R equals R naught, here it is written A naught. Which orbit? Second orbit, 2 square. And what is atomic number? Z equals 4. So 4. So R will be equal to A naught. So radius of second orbit of triply ionized beryllium will be how much? A naught. And if you remember, this A naught is nothing but approximately 0.529 angstrom. This much. So let us solve question number 8. What is question number 8? Question number 8 says, which energy state of doubly ionized lithium has the same energy as that of ground state of hydrogen? Now what is the energy in the ground state of hydrogen? Minus of 13.6 n square, here minus of 13.6 into Z square divided by n square. That is the energy of hydrogen. Any case. So Z is 1, n is 1. So you can simply remove them. So in the ground state of hydrogen, this much is the energy. And this energy is equal to what they are saying? Which energy state of doubly ionized lithium? So minus 13.6 lithium. Lithium atomic number 3. So Z square. Z square will be 3 square divided by which energy state? We do not know. So n square. like this. So they are asking value of n. So 13.6 cancel, minus minus plus. So n square equals 3 square, n equals 3. So your option also 3. Option 3 is the correct choice. Now what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is, in case of a doubly ionized lithium ion, if the electron is in the third orbit, third energy state, then it will have same energy as an electron in the ground state of hydrogen. So whether you keep your electron in the third orbit of doubly ionized lithium ion, or you keep your electron in the ground state of hydrogen ion, both will have same energy. So that is the meaning of this. Now let us solve question number 9. What is question number 9? Question number 9 says, in Bohr's model of hydrogen atom, the centripetal force is provided by the Coulomb attraction between protons and electrons. If A0 is the radius of the ground state orbit, m is the mass and E is the charge on an electron, and epsilon naught is the vacuum permittivity, then the speed of electron is. So what they are asking? They are asking nothing but, in a ground state, there is the nucleus, here is the electron moving with a speed v, here is the radius they have given as A0. Now in a hydrogen atom, there is only one proton. So charge on proton, nucleus, and charge on electron, they have same magnitude. So what is the Coulomb force? Coulomb force can be written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied by charge square, E, same magnitude, E square, divided by radius square, A0 square. This is your Coulomb force. And Coulomb force provides what? mv square divided by r, centripetal force. So A0 cancel. So v square is equal to E square divided by 4 pi m epsilon naught A0. So v equals to E divided by under root of 4 pi m A0 epsilon naught. This is your speed of the electron in the ground state of hydrogen atom, where m is the mass of the electron, A0 is the radius of the ground state, epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space, and E is the magnitude of charge on the electron. So this is your option number 3 is the correct choice. Option 3. So let us take a look at the next question, that is your question number 10. C10. Section C, question number 10. What is question number 10? If an orbital electron of the hydrogen atom jumps from the ground state to a higher energy state, its orbital speed reduces to half its initial value. Now what is the speed? You can say that speed is proportional to, what? Z by n. That is, speed is proportional to. So Z remains same, and if you jump to a higher state, then speed reduces to half of the initial value. So speed becomes half means n becomes twice. So you can say n2 is equal to nothing but twice of n1, like this. If the radius of the electron orbit in the ground state is r, then the radius of the new orbit will be. So you can also write that radius is proportional to how much? N square by z. So if the initial r1 by r2 will be equal to how much? n1 square divided by n2 square, like this. So R2 will be equal to R times N2 by N1 square, and N2 by N1 is 2, so 2 square. So R2 will be 4 times R. So if the initial radius was R, final radius will become 4R, because if initially you are in second orbit, then finally you are in fourth orbit. If the initially you are in third orbit, then finally you are in sixth orbit. Initially you are in first, finally you are in second. So if your speed becomes half, then radius become 4 times. So your option number 2 is the correct choice. You can note it down if you want. Now let us discuss question from section D. Section D is electronic transition in the hydrogen or hydrogen-like atoms. So first question. What is the first question? 3 photons coming from an excited atomic hydrogen samples are picked up. Okay. Their energies are 12.1 electron volt, 10.2 electron volts. So energy of first atom is 12.1 electron volt, first photon. Energy of the second photon is 10.2 electron volt. Energy of the third photon is 1.9 electron volt. Then these photons must come from, option number 1 is single atom, option number 2 is 2 atoms, option number 3 is 3 atoms, option number 4 is either 2 or 3 atoms. Now first let us try to find out if these energies are to be emitted, then which energy levels we should jump from. Now here, don't write it like this, write it energy A, energy B, energy C. Now what is the energy in the first level of hydrogen atom? Minus 13.6. What is energy in the second level? Minus 13.6 divided by 4, that is minus of 3.4. Okay. What is energy in the third level? Minus 13.6 divided by 9. So that will be minus of 1.5 electron volts approximately. So this much is the value. Now see, how we can emit this much energy photon? Which level I should jump from to which level? Now if you pay attention, if I jump from third orbit to the first orbit, what is the difference between third and first? Minus 1.5 minus of minus 13.6, so plus 13.6, 6, 5, 1, 13, 1, 12. So if I want to emit a photon of energy this much, then I should jump from where to where? N3 to N1. What about this second one? If I jump from second to first, 6, 4, 2, 13, 3, 10. Okay. So this photon will be emitted when I jump from N2 to N1. What about this? This can be emitted if I jump from 3 to 2. See, 1.5, 3.4, 14, 5, 9, 2, 1, 1. Okay. So this will be emitted if I jump from N3 to N2. Now see, let us draw. This is third, second, 1. Now let us assume that electron was already here. Then let us say it jumped from third to second. It can jump like this. Now it can jump from second to first. It can jump from second to first. Meaning these two photons can be emitted by the same electron. Same electron jump from third to second, then again it jump from second to first. So these two photons can be emitted by the same electron. And another electron can jump from third to direct one. So that is a different electron. So two electrons can emit these 3 photons. So 2 atoms are required to emit these 3 photons. Now what about 3? It so happens that it is not necessary that electron is in the third orbit. Let us say one electron jump like this, another jump like this, and the third one jump like this. So it is possible that all the 3 photons are emitted by 3 atoms. So here either 2 atoms required or 3 atoms are required, but 1 atom cannot be. Why? Because once electron jumped from third to second, second to 1, what about this energy? For this energy, it has to jump from 3 to 1. It cannot go back from 1 to 3 and then again jump, right? So either you need 3 different atoms to emit each one electron, 1 photon, or these 2 photons can be emitted by the same electron and you will need another electron to emit this energy. So you need either 2 electrons, 2 atoms, or 3 atoms. So option number 4th is the correct choice, that these 3 photons may be emitted by either 2 atoms or 3 atoms. Option number 4th is the correct choice. What about question number 2? Question number 2. In a hypothetical atom, if the transition from n equals 4 to n equals 3 produces visible light, then possible transitions to obtain infrared. Remember, infrared has energy less than visible region. So infrared radiation is, if you remember, 1 by lambda will be equal to R. From n equals 4 to n equals 3. So what you will say? 1 by 9 minus 1 by 16. So this will be how much? 1 by lambda equals R times 16 minus 9, 7. Okay, yeah. 9 into 16. This much. And what is the energy of the photon emitted? Hc by lambda multiplied by Hc. Hc is a constant. Now if the energy of the photon has to be less than this energy, then this value should be less. 1 by lambda should be less, or lambda should be greater. So if I jump from 5 to 3, so 1 by 9 minus 1 by 25. Now obviously, if you pay attention, if you jump from 4 to 3 and if you jump from 5 to 3, then which will have higher energy? 5 to 3 will have higher energy, 4 to 3 will have lower energy. So if 4 to 3 is in visible region, hypothetical atom, so if 4 to 3 is visible, then how can 5 to 3 will be infrared? 5 to 3 will be even higher energy. So that is wrong. If 4 to 3 is visible, then 4 to 2, from N4 to N2 will have even higher energy. See, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 4 to 3, sorry, yes, 4 to 3. 4 to 3 is invisible, this much energy. 5 to 3 will be even higher energy. 4 to second will have higher energy. 3 to 1 will have higher energy. So none of the given choices, that is, if n equals 4 to n equals 3 I am jumping and that is a visible region, then none of the given options, that is n5 to n3, n4 to n2, n3 to n1, all these 3 options will produce even higher amount of energy. But we want infrared. Infrared is less energy than visible. So none of these transitions will produce infrared. So option number 4, that is none of these above is the correct choice. So option 4 is the correct choice, that none of the transitions given in option 1, 2 and 3 will be able to produce infrared. All of them will produce energy higher than n equals 4 to n equals 3. Let us solve the third question. What is the third question? Third question says the ionization energy of hydrogen atom is 13.6 electron volt. Okay. The hydrogen atoms in the ground state are excited by the electromagnetic radiation of energy 12.1 electron volt. Okay. How many spectral lines will be emitted by the hydrogen atoms? Now, so ground state energy is minus 13.6. And you provided some energy. How much energy did you provide? Plus 12.1 electron volt. So what is the final energy? Final energy is 6 minus 1, 5, 13 minus 12, 1, 1.5 electron volt. So minus of 1.5 electron volt is approximately how much? This is approximately minus 13.6 divided by 9, which is nothing but energy of N, which is energy of third state, minus 13.6 divided by n square. Meaning, when you provided 12.1 electron volt energy, electron in the ground state was able to jump to the third state. So now this electron is where? This electron is in the third state. So from the third state, it will jump to the first state. Then how many ways it can jump? It can either jump like this from third to second, then second to 1. Or it can directly jump from third to 1. So how many spectral lines are possible? What is the possible spectral lines? In the spectrum, how many lines we can observe? We can observe either this energy or this energy or this energy from third to 1. So total 3 spectral lines are possible. So your option is also 3. So option 3 is the correct choice. So in the questions like this, simply find out in which final energy state is your electron is. And in that final state, you can make the jump to the ground state. So there are 3 possible ways. Let us solve question number 4. What is question number 4? The wavelength of the first line in the Balmer series in the hydrogen spectrum is lambda. What is the wavelength of this second line? What is the first line in Balmer series? Balmer series is from any higher state to second energy state. So first line, what is the first line? First line will be N3 to N2. That will be first line. So what will be lambda? 1 by lambda will be R, Rydberg constant, 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 9, 3 square. So this will be how much? 1 by lambda equals R times 4, 9, 9 minus 4 is 5 divided by 36. 5R by 36. So that is your 1 by lambda, where lambda is the first. What about the second line? Second line will be how much? Second line will be N4 to N2. Remember, from where you are jumping, that can change. But final jump should be second. That is your Balmer series. So N4 to N second. So what will be 1 by lambda 2, second line, R 1 by 4 minus 1 by 16, 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 4 square. So 1 by lambda 2 will be equal to R 4 minus 1, 3, 3 divided by 16, 3R by 16. That is 1 by lambda 2. Now, from here, R is same in both. So I can replace this R with 36 divided by 5 lambda 1. So 1 by lambda 2 equals R, and in place of R, I can write from here 36 divided by 5 lambda 1 equals R. So put that here. 36 divided by 5 lambda 1 multiplied by 3 divided by 16. Like this. So this will be 4 into 4, 16, 4 into 9. So 1 by lambda 2 equals 27 divided by 20 lambda 1. So lambda 2 equals, sorry, this is 20 lambda divided by 27, that is your lambda 2, where lambda 2 is the wavelength of the second spectral line when electron jumps from n4 to n second, and lambda is the wavelength of first spectral line in the Balmer series when electron jumps from n3 to n second. So your option 1 is the correct choice. Lambda 2 equals 20 lambda by 27. So this was your discussion of modern physics 1 exercise 1 of section C, which is Bohr atomic model, and section D, which is electronic transition from hydrogen or hydrogen like atoms. There will be another video for your exercise 2.